If you knew me before, you wouldn't even look my way.
And welcome back to Sullivan's Unheard Voices. I'm here with Katy. Katy, we met recently at the farmer's market.
Yes, we did.
And I love, like, when I started talking to you, I was already sort of inspired by what you have going on in terms of what you were doing at the farmer's market.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also told me about your healing venture. And I'm like, I need to know more.
Okay.
Like, how long has you been sort of on that sort of spirituality, sort of healing path?
The healing path has been 35 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
How'd you get started?
Well, it was through indigenous practices, Lakota practices. And so I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
And it was a lifesaver for me.
And one of the things that I run against, I should say, more often than not, is you have a lot of people that are kind of skeptical about the healing arts.
Yes.
And I'm more skeptical these days about pharmaceuticals than I am about anything else.
True.
And so I really kind of was very happy that you came along today to sort of help sort of dispel some of those myths, because when you're talking about like healing arts and the work that you do, you're not talking about what the newspapers are saying. You should try to cure cancer. Well, no, that's not what this is about. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
The
outcome can be that.
Yeah, right?
Right. Different approach, though.
Exactly. Like what kinds? So when you're talking about like the healing arts, right? Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about like how that works for you.
For me, and I think actually everything is, we're energy, we're frequency. We're consciousness, and somehow it'll come across in the next 3 or 4 years that it'll come that what a lot of us know in the healing arts is that it's kind of an illusion down here. You know? And my foundation, and I don't do this work anymore, but because I closed my office in June and I do everything online now. And but my foundation in this, since 2012, was learning by a woman by the name of Dolores Cannon. And she died. I was trained by her in 2013. It's a very deep hypnosis technique. Mm-hmm. It's an 8-hour day.
Oh.
And it's 2 to 4 hours of talking, about your life, because everybody's got lots of things to share, and then you come in with 20 or 30 questions, and I put you in deep trance for 2 to 3 hours. I don't do this work anymore, so I don't do it, just because I was guided to do the other work that I'm doing. But that's my foundation, and I connect people to their souls, and that's really in all the work I do currently, is connecting the person, if I can, to the soul, their soul. It has all your answers. It is fully capable of healing your body. And it's just a matter of us, because we've been programmed and dumbed down and spliced and diced over eons and lifetimes, because most everybody here on earth right now is a magnificent being of light.
Yeah.
And we chose to come down in this form, forget who we are, go through trials. And this is what you'll find out with Dolores Cannon. She wrote 17 books, all the information from her soul. You can just Google her.
Okay. She
died in 2014. And I'm telling you, when you start in with her, it's like, oh my God, yeah, that makes so much sense. And I did that work for 10 years, and I did over 1,000 of those sessions. And that's, and then plus I have my own gifts and my own, intuition. And then I have those ones up there that, are benevolent ones that are all saying the same thing. So we came in here because our DNA transcends with our soul.
Okay.
Okay. And so we have lived thousands or maybe even millions of life. And we're very, very old. We would be here on earth right now if we weren't old, old, old souls. And so as the soul leaves the body, the DNA of that life, all its ancestors, everything transcends with the soul. And we're in a phase right now, prophesized by every way, culture, way, tradition around the world, religion, that make a difference, for the prophecies that are unfolding right now. And we're here to clear that.
To sort of clear the historical trauma, if you will?
Yeah, it's in our DNA. Every cell in our body, in the center of it, is a complete blueprint of our DNA. So what it manifests as emotions, it manifests as illness, it manifests as anger, it manifests as, whatever. It comes up, but it's so much deeper than that. And that's what the energy medicine is going to bring it back around now. That's what the energy medicine does.
Okay.
That's the level it works. So we have all of these layers of frequency and energy that carries the good, bad, and ugly. We've been dark and we've been light in our soul's journey, and we've been everything in between. And so it's about what is out here in our energy field is inside of our body, whatever it is, good, bad, or ugly, right? And what is in our body is out here. So did it manifest out here inside? Or did we muddy our energy field up because, we're carrying something from the inside? There's really it's all one.
Right. Interesting. I'm trying to sort of grasp
I don't want
to.
I don't want to go. I can go really deep, and I can go detailed, and I'm trying to really be careful, because if I'm listening, anybody that comes and sees me, it's the opening for them.
Yeah.
It's the opening. It's the connections. It's the things that happened after session. If they're paying attention to it, I have nothing to do with that. If they're not listening, to what, has happened in the session, not to me. I'm just a facilitator. That's all I am.
And are we looking for like signs of what the energy around the world is offering to us?
Well, what's outside is what inside. The saying, as above, so below, as within, so without. So not only is every human going through a chaotic, and we all are, whether we're playing it out dark or light or negative or positive, everybody's playing it out. And because it's got to come to the surface. So we have so much coming up. And then the earth herself has been misused, abused, spliced and diced. She's a 12th dimensional soul in the body of the earth. And she's cleansing too. So that's the chaos that you see out around us. And it's about us. The work that I do in every way I can is to facilitate sessions that open your heart, because this is the connection to everything.
Yeah.
It is the connection to everything good, everything benevolent. It's the connection to our soul, to Mother Earth, and all the beautiful things. And this is so blocked and scarred, and not just this life, not just our ancestor in this life, but every life we've ever lived. And we're very, very old.
Yeah, because no matter which way you cover it, life is full of trauma.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like that yin and yang, right? That equal balance of blessings and things that are humorous, super, super positive, but also super, super tragic. Your words, interestingly enough, have you heard of the band Tool?
No, I'm not well read on a lot of different things out there, but please share.
There is a band named Tool, and they have a song called Lateralis.
Mm-hmm.
And the lyrics are really reminding me of what you're talking about here. As below, so above, beyond I imagine. Spiral out. Like everything has its beginning and ending, but we're all sort of entwined into one spiritual being, connected through something that we can't see or can't physically touch. Yeah.
Well, John Lennon, too. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of songs that really had deeper meanings that were just, maybe people didn't, a lot of people did understand, but some didn't, and it's like it's threaded and it's planned. See, I'm going to share something else. If you get into Dolores, and I encourage everybody to, because she will pop your world right open. Earth is a school. Creator created Earth and put it at the edge of the solar system, very edge, because the dark is polarity, it's density, it's okay. That's what Earth was designed for. And we, as souls, being benevolent souls, we're just kind of even killed. We don't carry all those emotions on our soul level. We don't have any of that. I talked to many souls, and it's just not there. But we came down to forget who we are. Our soul planned your life, planned my life, planned everybody's life. And people have trouble with that.
Yeah.
People have trouble. But we came down here as a soul to created this avatar. Because the soul advances whatever it chooses to experience. And it's chosen everything. So that's what we have inside of us. We've been everything, and we've been in every planet. So Earth was created to come down, and the dark and the light were invited in, and let's just see what happens. And all of it, and you're going to just find a lot of information. And then if you connect in to the source ones, the ones that are channeling, and there's a lot of, you have to be careful with that, because if the person, the channeler, is not clear, it's going to filter through what they're receiving. It'll filter through their own,
and the message will get damaged along the way.
Just tweaked, or maybe just something really slight, but you'll know because you feel it. Everything you feel is right, even if we don't understand it. Okay.
Can you describe the feeling that you get?
Have you ever had something that you absolutely needed to do, and you knew you needed to do it, and you didn't know the outcome? You just did it.
Yeah, this is what we're doing right here today.
All right. You're following, and I've been thinking about you because I listened to your podcast of, how you got here, and your, your autism and stuff like that. And that's another whole story. Autism, ADD, all of that. You're special. You are special. And like with ADD, I found out in the soul, because I've had a lot of ADD clients, At first I thought, God, I'm not going to be able to put them under, but I discovered I could. And it just depends on the client, though. And so I asked a soul one time, I said, what is all this? Because the client came in, it was a man, him and his son had ADD. And I said, what is this, And the soul told me, and I just heard it recently backed up. And this was years ago, but backed up on something I was listening to. But the ADD, it's genetic marker that was put in humans back in the hunter-gatherer times, because they shouldn't be focused, and I'm thinking dinosaurs or something, I don't know, but they needed to be able to, not be so focused that they, lose. And that's what that is. And now it pops up into certain people, and it's you're labeled, it's like you're round pegged and they're trying to shove you into a square hole, right?
Yep.
Especially the young, the children in school and things. And my son's 44, and he had ADD, and I wish I would have known. I wish I would have known what I know now. But autistic, and that's nothing. Just bring up autism and Dolores Cannon, and she got a lot of stuff in there, and why, you were born with it, and why your soul chose that for you.
Yeah.
Because you're here right now. Everybody's kind of trying to figure out who they are, and You know, some of us did it earlier, and some of us other people are right on time. They're right on time, and they have their own wake up date, you know, and there's nobody behind and nobody ahead, but you have a purpose, and you have, I could feel the heart when we talked at the market, and you're doing what you need to do. I don't know what that plays out with in the future,
and frankly, I don't care.
That's it.
You know, I get to have these conversations and learn about something that I never even knew existed until this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself is so special beyond any of my possibilities in my mind.
Yeah. And this is what we need to feel it.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling it now. I think you're feeling it now. That's telling you whatever this is, even if you don't understand it, you feel it and you know somehow. And that's what I do is I just plant seeds.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know, we may never see each other again. And, but if I planted a seed today to whoever is listening,
it's worth it.
There's nothing impossible. There's absolutely nothing impossible. And when we limit ourselves, we close the trillions of possibilities that we have.
And I've always been the kind of person that was never married to my belief system, in so much that I will always keep an open mind when information that fits better presents itself.
Right.
And that's sort of the only way to be. And it's interesting that you brought that up, because there are so many things since I started this podcast journey that would not have happened in my life had I not started this podcast journey.
That's it.
And
right
it's just been, the fact that I'm in this wonderful studio is purely by accident. The fates sort of lined up, and I interviewed the right person at the right time who had this ability to donate this space for the podcast, and it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't have happened. And maybe fate is it, and maybe it's not happenstance. I'm open to the idea, but there's so many things in life that, if you made one wrong choice, even the bad ones, if you made a choice differently along the way, your trajectory would be way over there.
Yeah.
And there has to be something.
Yeah, but you see, we have all these timelines up here. So I've never seen them, but I know prophecy means probability.
Yeah.
And so, we were designed perfectly, and our soul said, okay, if she goes this way, this is what's going to happen in every moment of our lives.
Yeah.
In your life too. So there's lots of different timelines up there. So whenever I get information about what's going to happen, or, whatever it is, they know that I'm right here, right now on this timeline. And that's the best probability. It's what's going to happen in a year or 2 years or 3 years. And so if we tweak it a little bit, that's going to change that a little bit. Right.
Yeah.
It's like, I have to be careful because it's really mind boggling in who we are. And then plus everything is now, past, present, and future. Everything that has ever happened to you in a soul journey, good, bad, or ugly, is all out here in timelines.
Yeah.
Past, some of us are from the future. So we got future timelines, and it's all right now. And dropping into your heart and feeling for everything that feels good, right? And you to follow through, puts you right now in this now moment. And that's where all the answers come. Past is fear,
Yeah.
or whatever emotions come up, not just this life, but all the other lives, right? And future is worry.
Yeah.
The saying that yesterday, I've heard several elders say this, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. So stay in the present. And And you really have to work at it, because there's everything, your own stuff that's coming up, right? Plus society and government and all around the world. This is not just in the United States what's happening right now,
Yeah.
And it's really like, breathe.
Yeah.
If I tell anybody anything, just stop and breathe and ground yourself, and you in that now moment, and you'll feel it. And that's where, revelations come in and all kinds of things happen. But we have to then, one thing at a time, learn to trust it, because we're breaking program that taught us that we didn't know anything. We have to depend on everybody, right? Not ourselves. All that stuff that's come down over generations and generations and lifetimes. We've lived hundreds of human lives, so we have all that in the past inside us too.
Yeah, because I know there's been studies about like memory passed down between generation and generation.
Yeah.
And something that happened to your family six generations ago is implanted in your memory of your generation.
It's in your DNA.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's in your DNA.
Yeah, and the other piece of that always sort of struck me as interesting is in the moment of your passing, when whatever soul or whatever leaves your body, you actually weigh less. It's not much.
Yeah.
But you actually weigh less.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what is that?
Yeah. And it really does leave. I mean, just look at, Indies, is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Dying and coming back.
Oh,
is it Indies?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'll think about it just a minute. Yeah, I mean, and the stories that come back, and that's the kind of stories I get when I take my clients out.
Yeah.
They're experiencing things that their left brain could never make up. And I always put it in the soul's hands, not mine. I'm guided by what the client is experiencing, and I just try to get them, get them through it. And
so take me through the process that you have now, though, because you're selling jewelry.
Yes.
And it's jewelry that has a purpose and meaning, right?
Well, it is my love.
Yeah.
It is my frustration. It's like, that didn't work, because I just started teaching myself 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was like I had a broken pair of sterling silver earrings that I really wanted to have fixed. And I bought my first torch and watched a video. And now, 6 torches later and a couple of years after that, I said, I want to cut, grind, and polish my own stones.
And they look really good.
A couple $1,000s. And I don't think I'll ever make the money back of what I put into it. But it's a love, and and the energy healing is like, that's, if I could just recommend anything to anybody, was do anything you love. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
It's not work at all.
Do what you love and be kind to people.
Yeah.
That's really...
Well, all of the chaos out there, that's what's going to all boil down to. I don't know how long, a year, 2 years, whatever. It's all going to come around to, let's just be nice to each other.
Ah, yeah.
That's the way we're headed. And that's all, from what I'm hearing, this is the outcome of all this stuff that's going on right now. Will be peace and love and so much wonderful. Nobody left behind, and nobody's sick, and everybody's cared for, and no judgment, no anger. That's where we're headed. We just got to drop into our heart, shut that out there, not ignore it. I'm not saying ignore it, but if it puts you off your center, you got to do something to bring it back.
Yeah.
Or you're just going to get really lost.
And the more you focus, and I know from personal experience, the more you focus on that disruption, the harder it is to get back to the center.
And then there's times that it pulls you off, you kind of get pulled off,
Mm-hmm.
but I can get back pretty quick now. It's not like I'm always there in this center, but I know how to get myself back.
I'm still a work in progress.
Everybody is.
Yeah.
I'm still going through all kinds of things, and there'll be health issues that come up, and aches and pains and emotions, and everybody's going through it. But the sad part is that I bet maybe 60% of the humanity doesn't know this yet. So they're just caught in the emotion. It's all part of the life plan. It's all part, nobody's behind. But it's like, I just say, okay, here's another thing. Okay, bye-bye, see you later. Let this one go. It's so much easier for me just to let it go now, because I like the feeling of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is my truth. Your heart is your truth.
Yeah.
Our truth is not the same.
No.
So everything that I'm saying is my truth. I resonate with other truths. We resonate here together because we have similar truths, but bottom line, my truth is different than yours.
And I really look forward to the day where that can just be.
It's gonna
happen. Like, and I think it's moving really rapidly in that direction. And I say that because I've seen a shift, especially in the last 12 months or so, in just the people that I talk to and the people that I get to know and get to meet, on both sides of the political spectrum, on all sides of whatever ideology that you have. More people are caring more about their fellow human than about the chaos of outside of us.
Yeah, and you get into Dolores, she'll tell you it's all planned, just like that.
Yeah.
We came here to learn and to forget that part of who we are, which is our natural state. What you're talking about is who we are, a 16th of an inch above our head, right?
Yeah.
That's who we are.
Yeah.
And it's about the process of just clearing this so we can bring this down, and this being our operating system. And that's where it's going. And I truly, honestly, 1,000,000,000% believe that. And it's what gets me through. It's what keeps me happy. It's what keeps me grounded, what's keeping kind and loving. And I'm not perfect, I go through my own stuff, but I just keep, that's what if I should die today, then I'm going to die really happy. I have accomplished my goal.
I love it. I love it.
And that's what the chaos is. It's going to bring people around as planned. Nobody late, nobody ahead.
Yeah.
It's going to bring people around to.
Yeah, because I even think with right now with the friends that I have, would I have had those friends 2.5 years ago? The answer is no.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for people who were seeking people who were, I was in a bad relationship and a bad career, and just everything in my life was just chaos. And it wasn't until I sort of came to this realization of my own mental health is way more important than my job. And that was the shift.
And that's what's going to go on. It's going to take something for somebody else different, another person different. And that's what's going to bring you around. And like attracts like.
Yeah.
It's like magnets. So in that state, which you needed to go through to get you to right here, sitting at this thing and advancing and increasing your vibration, that you needed to go through that now.
Yes.
Whether you were late or early, it doesn't make any difference. Your soul's going, yes, he did it,
He made it.
Yeah. And then you increase your vibration. So what happens is that opens the door, like attracts like.
Yeah.
And then people will fall out of your life. And that's the way it is. And that doesn't mean that they're not going to make it. Doesn't mean that they're not going to increase their vibration. Doesn't mean anything. It's just not a match.
And it allows you to give yourself permission to let go.
Yes.
Because instead of you trying and focusing all of your energies towards changing somebody and bringing them out of this thing that they kind of have to do themselves.
Yes, they definitely do.
Right. If you have somebody that's somewhat toxic and they're not thinking about improving themselves, it's okay to let them go.
Yes.
Now
with love,
with love.
no
Yeah.
judgment.
Keep the bridge open.
Yeah.
Like
and send them
when
love.
you're ready for healing and you're ready to, like, I'll welcome you back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. That's
Not
exactly,
now.
because you have to take care of, we're at a time right now where we actually have to be increasing every chance we get, every moment we get, our vibration, because the vibration of the planet, the sun, all of this, cosmic stuff that's happening, it's prophesized on Earth and every planet and universe. And there's other universes beyond our universe, right? And this is going to happen. And when this happens, when we're back to peace on Earth and love, and we got 1,000 years of peace we're looking at. I don't know how. I don't know if that's 5. I don't know if that's 10. There's no dates, and don't let anybody tell you a date, because it's up to Creator, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where we're going, and we have to do this work, and we have to take care of ourselves, and we have to lighten ourselves up, and we have to heal, and we have to release. And I have, my work is just, all I'm doing is offering something, to start that process, but it's really your work. It's the client's work, right? I mean, I've seen miracles happen in front of me. I mean, literally, miracles happen, cancer healed, and all kinds of things when you get somebody out of the way, because when you're putting them in hypnosis, or you're doing a Merkaba healing, you're out of the way, and you're open, and there's so much things with QHHT that happen. And I knew there was a handful of clients, maybe more, sitting in the post, and they didn't believe it. And, it's, there's nothing I can do,
Yeah.
but at least at the minimum, I planted seeds, and then the other, part of it, where this just, they listened, they did, and it was life-changing work. But I don't know. I'm not in control here.
Yeah.
I'm just opening the door.
I started learning that too. I'm not in control. I think I am sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really in control.
No, we're not.
There's so many things outside of where you step right now that are just outside of your control.
Outside, totally. Right.
Yeah.
And even if you think you're out in control, I always like to say, and I don't even think this is accurate, but out there in the world, you don't have control over anything except for your own actions and your thoughts. But in your home, maybe you got 50% control. I don't think that. I think it's maybe 25% control in your home,
Mm-hmm.
And it's important that you keep your environment,
and
keep your energy the energy in your environment clear too.
And the other thing that's been happening with increased regularity, once I've sort of been attuned to sort of outside of my own self,
Mm-hmm.
is it's really easy for me to spot like-minded or like-focused people. Whereas before I was susceptible. I hate that word. I was very easily to be manipulated, to be taken advantage of, because, always been kind and nice, but I wasn't in tune with my own personal boundaries and my own personal existence, which led to a whole bunch of people taking advantage of me and making things worse. Mm-hmm. Now that I have sort of turned towards and embraced whatever's going on with me, I've been able to see them coming from a mile away.
Mm-hmm. That's because you can read their energy.
Yeah. Your
lower vibration actions and, pain and suffering and people. It's a heavier density. So you feel it first.
Yeah.
It's really good to start feeling it, everything, because that's going to be your answer. That's your, that's going to, the other, I can see with my eyes closed if I'm in the right spot, in the right frequency. And I can hear, and I have full dialogue of, communication with my guides. But the most powerful thing I have is the feeling, and it comes with everything else comes after the feeling. That's I feel it, and then things start, flip coming on. and you're feeling it. So you're seeing it. That's energy. That's frequency.
Yeah.
You know, so even though you don't know, you can walk, you've probably been done this. You walked into a room and there's something off. I mean, it could be 100 people in there. If now I can't do that, but you know, there is some people that will say, oh yeah, I see what's going on with that. I have friends that can do that. You know, I can see what's going on there. I can see what's going on with that person, you know, but you'll feel it.
Yeah.
You feel it.
And it's interesting that you say that, because like before I could feel it, like I still to this day, I can't read facial expressions. I'm pretty good with like proxemics and things like that, but body language, all that stuff's out the window. Mm-hmm. So now that I can feel it, it's different, and I can sort of stop it. But if I just relied on facial expressions and body language, I wouldn't be able to tell.
Yeah, I don't do it that way. I learned, it started coming online probably about 25 years ago, the feeling. Mm-hmm. And I just know it. I mean, it is without a doubt. Whatever it is, I may misinterpret it.
Yeah.
Then, you know, that's this trying to figure it out, you know. Could do that. But that feeling, it's undeniable. And it is the only thing I trust.
Yeah.
It's a 1,000,000,000% accurate. And you just keep practicing. You just keep doing it. And you go, oh yeah, I felt that first, you know. Well, that one you might decide that, well, this figured it out wrong, but this was right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where every human's going. Otherwise, they're just not going to be able to live in the frequency. So it was explained by a psychic back when I was a kid. And I still hold on to this. So when they come down and speak to us, right? They come down from wherever they're coming down from. And some of them, you know, you got some that do come to Earth, but some only can come down this far. Uh-huh. Well, the human has to come up. And if it's like this, then it may not be crystal clear communication, right? If it's like this, like versus like, that tracks like, then it's going to be, you know, it's going to be clear. But the more you practice, and I mean, let me tell you, it's taken me 30 years to get where I'm at today, but it's happening rapidly with people now. I mean, it's like everything's speeding up.
Yeah.
Everything's speeding up. So just keep on going. And I have clients that come and say, I can't share this with anybody. I say, you can share it with me. And 90% of the stuff, I don't know what it is. And I don't understand it. It's so just so big. But I know it is right. And it is their journey. And then I can start asking questions of souls and, you know, open the door to the benevolent ones that come in and say, you know, if the client needs an answer on that, I go, okay, what about this? You know, and then it comes from them.
What kind of questions were they asking?
Well, like I said, I'm not doing QHHT, and I'm sorry, but there's QHHT practitioners in Salem.
Yeah.
And I can't recommend anybody, but I don't have the office to do it now. And I can't do it on that. I can't do that on that long of a session online. But they come in with, I mean, this is over 1,000 sessions, right?
Yeah.
Q. Well, why did I choose my parents, and why did this happen? And we're talking serious stuff. You know, we're talking illnesses and deaths and questions about that, and maybe abuse, and you know, why did this happen? I get to the soul, and their soul, not mine.
Yeah.
It was part of the life plan. Something that the soul wanted to learn, something that maybe it was karma. I had one man that came in and said, we're talking in the talk, you know, 2 to 4 hours. And just to give you an idea. And his brother, I mean, it wasn't just sibling rivalry. I mean, his brother locked him in a barrel and left him. And I mean, we're talking about some really serious life-threatening things.
Yeah.
And he's my age, you know. This was like years and years ago. And he's my age. And I said, well, you want to know? You're at the right session. We can find out why your soul planned that for you. And And he says, no, he says, I got my self-esteem back. We're all good. There's no problem. But his soul wanted him to know that he killed his brother in a previous life. And this is how they worked out the karma. I'm telling you. So I can't have, because Earth was created as a school, because Earth was allowed the dark and the light, because Earth, we came down here, we volunteered.
Yeah.
We're not here because we have to be. We came down here to evolve our soul and to go through all of this. So I can't have judgment anymore.
Yeah.
I literally cannot have judgment. There's only 2 sessions that I had. I say 90% of your life is planned and 10% shit happens, right?
Yeah.
And I've only had 2 sessions out of over 1,000 that the shit happened. It wasn't supposed to happen. So how can I judge anybody anymore? And I don't know if they're living their life plan. I don't know if I'm not working with them. I see people doing this and doing that. I don't know. It's none of my business. But most of the time, it's probably the life plan. If they're not doing it, that's between them and their soul.
Yeah.
Not me.
And it's nobody's business but their own.
Yeah. And there's no 2 people alike.
Yeah.
We've been on a 1,000,000-mile, billion-mile journey in our souls. And yes, some people, got burned at the stake, and a lot of us were in Atlantis, and a lot of us were in Lemura, but we all had our own, we come from different planets. We're not the same. It's like a snowflake. There's no 2 snowflakes alike, and you'll never have 2 humans alike.
I say that all the time. Like I say not even identical twins have the same life story.
Mm-mm.
Like there's just impossible for 2 people to have the exact same story. It's not possible.
Yeah. And it's just 2, and I don't know about identical. I think there's something special about, I don't know if it's identical. Don't quote me if I'm wrong. Don't quote me, but I think some identical twins can actually be a split of the soul.
I can see that.
But that I don't know how often that happens. I don't know.
And I could see that, just especially with like when you have identical twins and you have like those moments of connectivity that you don't find anywhere else.
No, and there's a lot of moments of connectivity.
A lot.
Yeah, it's not
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But then you'll have the ones that, many of the ones we traveled with, and we could have had many past lives together. This could have been part of our contract. This could have been, it's just literally, if you connect with somebody, it's pretty guaranteed that you've spent many lifetimes with them, whether they're a soul family or just somebody that you've traveled many thousands of years with,
It's interesting that you say that, because like I remember my dear friend and adopted sister Megan, that we adopted each other as adults, as brother and sister, and I felt more of a familial connection with her than I have with my own family at times, almost like as if we were family at one point or another.
Yeah.
And I've only had that experience like one other time in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't, ignore that.
No.
Yeah.
And that is just, it could be your soul sister. I mean, literally, from your soul family.
Mm-hmm.
Since it's only 2, I'm going to guess that it's probably a soul family. You said one other time.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the feeling, and because of the feeling you had.
Yeah.
And you have to listen to it. And that's what we've been, programmed not to, because if we're not they don't want us to stand in our own power. They don't want us to be connected. They don't want us to be sovereign. And we're sovereign souls. And that's what we're going back to. And they've tried to stop that for, 5,000 years, probably.
Yeah, more.
They saw it coming, and they were putting all kinds of roadblocks in our way, But that's where we're going.
Yeah.
We are sovereign souls, and we will be sovereign souls in human body.
I hope I get to see it in my lifetime.
Well, we don't know.
Yeah.
That's another thing. When we're born, we have our death date.
Yeah.
And we're just supposed to live this journey and, you know. I think we have a few checkout times, you know, where I've had 3 clients where the soul says they're done. I said, not here, right now in this session, please. The first time it made the first time it made my heart jump. No. And so what I did was to the soul, you know, the first time especially was like, it kind of went, whoa, okay, you know. And I've done it, I think there's been 4. I know of 2 that are still alive. And, but I asked, I said, okay, she's done. What happens if she decides to stay? Because it's up to the soul, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, the soul rattled off, this could happen, they're done, you know, all of it's done, all the work's done, so they could sail. I said, well, what happens, you know, if they decide to go? And I get that detail, you know, what happens if they go? And that's not coming from me, it comes from the soul, which knows everything. And as far as I know, I don't know about 2 of them, but 2 of them are still here, and it played out like the soul said.
Yeah.
On one of them for sure. So we have so much help. We just have to quiet and center and drop into our heart and be in the moment. All that's, you know, not easy. I do have meditations on my website.
Okay.
That are, I just do, and some channelings. I don't necessarily like to channel. I don't know if I fully trust it yet, but what I have up, I trust.
Yeah.
And then there's a few meditation that help people get there. The 3 doors meditation was channeled, and it just gives you opportunity to connect to your soul, so you can practice. And my jewelry is on my website too.
Now, with your jewelry, I do want to ask a few questions about that, because what do you do in terms of like sourcing your stones?
I get them wherever I can.
Yeah.
Because I really want to keep my jewelry. I don't want to, you know, I just don't want to spend $300 or $400 for like a bracelet like this, or, you know, I made this. This is mine, you know, but if this was for sale, I'd probably sell it for about $125. My rings go for about $80. These ones that I make, my bowlers go for about $50. And men, is there a camera? Right.
Yep.
This is, the women are wearing bolos now. So young and old, actually.
Yeah.
I have 18, 20-year-olds saying, yeah, bolos are back. Yeah, I got bolos. And so I just got, there's a neighbor where I source my rocks, right? Anywhere I can. If I have to buy them, I will, but I try not to. I just got given a rainbow petrified wood from Arizona that will awesome. Will need to be cut. Uh-huh. And then I got 2 stones. I've been passing by. I've been living in this neighborhood for 5 years, and I passed by, and there's these just 2 gorgeous stones just sitting there all by themselves. Well, the house sold a couple of years ago, or a year ago, and I finally saw the new owner. I said, "Are you going to do anything with those stones?" "No, you can have them." Yes, you know, and so I just, you know, and sometimes I buy them, you know. It takes a lot of work if I'm cutting my own stones, but I don't charge for that, actually.
Okay.
And I can actually bring the price down a little bit when I'm not. I'll buy cabs. Like this was a cab. We call it a cab. It's already made, right? I didn't do this, and then I put it in the silver. But I buy the cabochons sometimes because it's a long process for me to go from diamond disc to polished disc. I work on about 15, 20 stones at a time. It takes me a month.
Okay.
So I interchange it with, you know, buying the stones ready to place.
Yeah.
And then I just hold the stone and say, you know, what do you want to be? And if it works, it works. If not, you know, that's what's in the, you know, stones is me still learning.
Yeah.
You know, determination and tenacity, and I'm going to get this done.
So why did you choose silver over a different kind of metal?
Well, gold is too expensive. Mm-hmm. And I've never liked wearing plated because
Same.
it can cause allergies, right?
Well, and it just like I have the one ring still that's left that's plated, and it causes that discoloration of the skin. It's just like, ugh.
And silver is, a precious metal, and it has a vibration, and it just, kind of goes, meshes with the jewelry.
Yeah.
And then I do cords. I'm trying to get the wide variety. So, I'll put these bolos on the leather cord, but I also have a satin cord that the bolo goes on. And any one of my pendants that I have, whether it's on a cord or a sterling silver chain, I offer 2 to 3 cords, different colors they can pick.
Yeah.
That way they can dress it down, they can dress it up, they can lengthen.
And you can kind of match it with different attire.
Yeah. And then women, we have like, okay, if we're going to wear a shirt like this, we're not going to wear something around our neck that hits right here, right?
Yeah.
We're going to go lower or we're going to go higher or, whatever. So we're kind of picky that way. And then I'm also, for the most part, if the chain is that's on that piece, the pendant is, too long or too short, I just exchange it.
Okay.
And then the rings I'm making, this one is not adjustable, but I have these. I sell these bands.
Yeah.
So rainbow hematite.
Mm-hmm.
I make all of these silver rings.
Okay.
All of these bands I make. So there's a variety of silver bands. And then I have stone rings. This is stone hematite. About 3 or 4 different styles of hematite, rainbow.
So what is hematite?
It's good for negative.
Oh.
Clearing negative energy.
Okay.
And that's another thing of the stones is like, I've been picking up stones since I was a little girl. When I started doing this, I started cutting some of those stones open. I don't care if it's like an ugly pebble on the ground.
Yeah.
It has a consciousness.
Yeah.
And it chooses you. So whether you're walking or you're in a store and all of a sudden you're just drawn.
Yeah.
Then you better pay attention to whatever that is over there because it's calling you. I mean, and everything has, and that's something I do offer, but I don't do it at the market. I do have stone readings. So any of the jewelry that I've made, it's an extra charge. If somebody orders it online and they order the stone reading too, I will sit there and because I know the person because I have their address and I know their name. I may not know them personally, but it really doesn't make any difference. There's no distance between us, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's in New York. And so I will hold the piece and I will get a message from the stone to the person, direct message. And so I can't do that at the market, even if it's a slow market, because I need to be focused.
There's too many people, too many different frequencies. Yeah, there's just no way. Just like I could see not being able to do like a massive thing over online just with the frequency and interruptions of digital
Well, you do that. Do that because most of my work is online now. And I used to do a group past life regression.
Okay.
And I can do that online, or I can go to a location around town. It really is. It's about setting up the parameters. So it's like, talking to your guides and tuning into them and say, okay, I need this connection protected from me to her or whoever. I just need it protected and no interference. So it's about asking, because you can have anything you want. So that's why you have to be careful what you ask for.
Yeah. Okay.
They'll give us anything we want, right? I mean, really, it's the law of manifestation.
Yeah.
Law of free will. We have the choice. And it's a serious law that they can't interfere with us unless we ask.
Interesting.
So they can't interfere. And it's like, even if it is, there is such thing as dark entities, and I think they're almost gone now. But, if we're allowing them to interfere with us, we can just say, get out. And they have to listen. I mean, there's a very serious law up there in the universe that, they have to leave. But then things happen. Like I had a session. Oh, what was that?
A phone.
Okay, that's mine. probably. I had a session that was way back, but this man came in with adult man came in with fears of what happened to him at 7 years old. And he's in his 40s or 50s now. It's a while back. I can't remember how old he is. And so when he was 7 years old, he walked into the laundry room and saw this big light being, and it freaked him out. And then sometime when he was 7 years old, he woke up in the middle of the night. And as an adult, he's explaining that he saw 3 portals. He didn't know what they were. But as an adult, he's saying, I saw 3 portals above my head. And it freaked him out.
Yeah.
So whenever anything that happens like that, and I said, well, let's ask, And so the soul said, yeah, that was his guardian angel in the bathroom. In the laundry room. And I said, what about the portals? Well, we just wanted him to realize that he could put his hand through them. And I laughed out loud because I talked to them like I'm talking to you. Do you know how many times you have freaked? This man is an adult and he's still freaked out what happened to it when he's 7. I said, why do you do that? We're supposed to be waking up. We're supposed to be connecting with you. Why do you do that? And the soul said, well, it's trial and error for us too. Well, if it doesn't work, we can't do it. So
we got to try it. I wonder if it works. Yeah.
So, yeah. So I'm at the market couple times a month.
What's the name of your website? Because we have been at this for an hour now.
Okay. It's Ask Your Stone. No, excuse me. Sorry. I combined my websites. I do not have 2 websites anymore. So it's askyoursoulhypnosis.com.
Askyoursoulhypnosis.com.
Yeah. And you will see the work that I do. Dolores Camden's still there because she's absolute, just amazing. Even though I'm not, you can't book one, but you'll see the past life regression. I do have meditation, consultations or working online for you to get going online, to help you meditate, and you'll see different things. You see the Merkaba healing. That's why I gave up the other 2. I gave up to just move forward because of the Merkaba healing is just like the next level.
And I'm sure it's exhausting work.
No, it's not.
Interesting.
In the beginning, it was.
Yeah.
Because it was too much in it physically, mentally. And then if it didn't work out, then I start worrying this early on. I've been doing it for a long time. What could I have done? Then it's exhausting and it's mental. But when you have a client that is just like experiencing it all, and I just get myself out of the way. It's me putting myself in the way that causes the exhaustion.
Yeah.
It's a high. It's a high, higher than anything that'll give it to you, any substance. And the same with the jewelry. And you mentioned all the people at the market, that it's my purpose to be able to, my work is to help people transform and transmute. And my energy field does that, all by itself without even effort on my part. And so I'm anchoring light. And so is a lot of other people. I'm not saying it's just me, but, in that parking lot next to the Capitol, I'm anchoring light.
Yeah.
And the more we wake up, the more we center, the more light we anchor and ground into and connect up to.
And the harder it is for those forces to come against us.
Yeah. It's like when you're in your center, it's like this most beautiful, magnificent force field. And they can't touch you. Like attracts like. So if you're running as high as you can, and we go up and down, we're not perfect, we're human, right? And none of us are done yet. But when you're in that space, or you just, that you end up there most of the time eventually. And it's like this force field that is this way, right? And nothing of lower vibration can actually affect you. And well, yeah, sometimes it does, but it's a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
It's up to us to do it. Nobody can do this work for us. We have to do it. And so that is there. And then you'll see a tab that says Ask Your Stone Jewelry. And that's where not all my jewelry is there. I don't take pictures of individual rings or, the chains and the bracelets. These bracelets I have on there and these type of rings I have on there. But my full line of jewelry is at the market. But I would, probably 85 or 95% of any pendant, anything I make is on there. So, and then you just call and ask. I have talked to people that, especially with the energy healing, and they'll call me back. I talked to you 3 years ago. I'm ready. I said, okay.
I love it.
Who is this?
I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, Katy, thank you so much. People, check her out. And I say this every time upon closing of our podcast. Be kind, people. Leave judgment at the door. You have no idea what anybody has gone through to bring them to this point here today.
Right.
Be nice.
Right.
And nice will come back.
Yes. Yes, that's for sure.
Thank you so much, Katy.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.